I've been trying to upload this video for about a year, but YouTube kept blocking it in all countries on upload. I'd recut it only to have it happen again to a different part of the video. Eventually, I gave up, but with the Snyder Cut being announced, I feel inspired to try again. That said, the internet had quite a bit to say about the original Snyder Cut getting released, mostly that it was a win for toxic fans. What is a toxic fan exactly? Well, let's take a quick look at what the definition seems to be. Number one, having a deep connection with the source material, possibly even having grown up with it. Two, understanding and respecting canon. Three, having a feeling of attachment or possibly even protectiveness over the material, like you would with something you loved or created. Four, carrying on conversations about the property, possibly even singing its praises, potentially bringing new people to it. 5. Sharing the material so that others may enjoy it also. 6. Spending hard-earned money on the property, possibly to the point of being a completist where you have to have every item associated with it. Okay, so you really need to be non-toxic fans. Now here's how that seems to shape up. 1. Have a passing interest in the material, possibly only becoming aware of its existence the moment you started an online discussion about how problematic it was. This casual fandom will keep you objective. 2. Your main concern should be that the material serves a political agenda. 3. You spend no money on the property at all, most likely torrenting it. This also helps you maintain objectiveness. 4. You're geek, not a nerd, GTFO fandoms. Is it a win for toxic fans? Maybe. That, or maybe Warner was just desperate to turn a profit. The reality is, what everyone's most likely upset about is that Whedon's social justice message is going bye-bye. With all of that out of the way, let's take one last steaming dump on this mess. On with the review. Well, this is relevant. Okay, I guess it sorta is. Zack Snyder posted this image of Cyclops pounding a grave, and then Kevin Smith confirmed that a Snyder Cut does exist, but only as roughly a 3-hour work print, which means there would be green screen, as not all the effects were done, temp music, and possibly missing B-roll. Now, from what I understand, after Superman v Batman didn't make the big bucks, the studio started mistrusting Snyder. Justice League started out as 2 movies and then was condensed into 1. Now, I don't know if that was at the writing stage or the filming stage, but supposedly roughly an hour of the Snyder Cut was cannibalized for Whedon's final cut. Now, I was gonna make this video when the movie had just come out, but the thought of watching it a second time made me grow a great big rubbery one. Man, was I excited to see this when it came out. Oh, wait a minute. No, I wasn't. Nah, I was highly skeptical because with the exception of 300, I didn't really like a lot of Snyder's directorial decisions, and then I heard they brought in Josh Whedon to finish the movie when Snyder couldn't. Nah, I pretty much knew it was doomed at that point. With the exception of Firefly, Serenity, and Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, which I actually haven't seen in a really long time, I can't stand Josh Whedon's writing or directorial style. He's way too heavy on the awkward jokes. He directed Buffy the Vampire Slayer for 6 years and Angel for 5. I hear you. You're saying, but the Avengers, and I am going to say that the studio control over that project was so tight that that's pretty much the movie any director would have handed in. So already the styles were polar opposite. More insufferable than Whedon's awful jokes is his political correctness, which he seems to work in as often as he can. So already I know it's going to be a tonal mess with heavy-handed SJW politics crammed in anywhere he can cram them in, and he's got just the shoehorn to do it.
Oh, Joss Whedon. Sensitive Joss Whedon. That's what we should call him from now on, is Sensitive Joss Whedon. That's a little clunky. Maybe we should use an acronym.
Oh, sure.
I grew up on the Justice League, or as we called them when I was a kid, the Super Friends. It was basically Batman, Robin, Superman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. It was pretty much the A-list DC characters of the time. In fact, at the time, DC was more popular than Marvel. As a really little kid, I was into all those characters and even had the action figures. Even Aquaman. Ironically, as a kid, my Aquaman figure's hand broke off, and I tried to stick it back on with some adhesive putty, but it didn't work very well, and the putty just left the stump red, and it always bugged me. And then in the 90s, Aquaman gets his hand chopped off and gets a metal hook hand and kind of a heavy metal makeover. Maybe he was gonna try and get into a parked car with a teenage couple making out inside. Now, I guess he got the hook because his hand got shoved into a piranha tank and they chewed it off. So after that, he kind of freaks out and gets the hook and goes on a rampage. Sounds more like Rolling Thunder than Aquaman. Okay, now in the movie, he just looks like the dude from Moana. So basically, what I'm saying is my expectations weren't too high. We open up our summer blockbuster with vertical video. Awesome! Opening your movie with vertical cell phone video is a sign of quality. This is obviously a Whedon reshoot. How do we know? 2 reasons. One is that Henry's upsetting rubber upper lip because they had to CGI out his mustache he grew for another project. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Second is the heavy-handed SJW overtone. Here, a minority child asks Soups about the S on his chest, and we learn it's not an S at all, but it means hope on his planet. First off, that's fucking stupid. So if it means hope, an obvious Obama reference, oh, don't believe me? Just Google Obama Superman, and the left's insane hero worship becomes crystal clear. So if the S really means hope, that means his name should be Hope Man or Hoper Man. So anyway, Hoper Man cucks out and bails, probably off to get a soy milk enema in hopes of calming down that upper lip. He did not take the Brits' advice to. Batfleck dangles a dude off of a ledge after the dude shoots at him, and instead of pleading for his life or apologizing, he asks, "What do you want from me?" Which is just a setup for Batman to say he wants to smell his fear. Which if he had said, "I want it to smell your fear," basically setting up that he was using the dude for bait, instead it just reads as all coincidental, like he just happened to cross paths with the Moth Monster Man thing. So then in the laziest writing ever seen, they fight only to somehow end up back on the same roof. One, so Batman can get the clue from the exploding monster, and 2, the bad guy can provide comic relief. Another thing that bugged me was Alfred has always been a butler. Trusted and lippy, but a butler. Now in this, he's suddenly like Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh, wait, that's stupid. The opening credits roll over a montage of memorial images of dead Hoper Man. Yeah, I really believe he's dead. This is scored with a mumblecore pop song whose lyrics remind us everybody knows, which I immediately mute. So then I see that Danny Elfman did the music, and I realize that yes, he can do a by the numbers, completely forgettable score. That, or they had to credit him for the 4 bars of the Burton Batman score they used. Then the second criminal act of the movie is again committed by a white dude. This time, he has a shaved head for that skinhead look as he kicks some fruit. Is that symbolic? I'm not sure. Anyway, the poor Middle Eastern store owner lady hides from the angry white man's assault. Come on, we both know you're not allowed to work. Then a white bum has a sign, "I tried." Come on guys, I get it. White folks are awful. Then we meet our third group of bad guys, and of course, they're white bank robbers. What's the deal? All anyone does in Gothropolis is steal and kick fruit? So in this arbitrary, shoehorned-in scene that only exists to give Wonder Woman something to do, as in the events bear no weight on the rest of the story, Wonder Woman, the strong Jewish female, stops evil Whitey. So I have to believe that Wonder Woman is actually Jewish, since with modern social justice casting, it's verboten to play anything that you expressly are not. In fact, it's even bad form to write a character if you don't share the same genetic makeup as that character. I would normally have said, okay, maybe Gothropolis has a majority white population, but so far, everyone not evil has been a minority female. It's subtle, I guess. So the evil whiteys take a group of young, ethnically diverse ladies hostage. Again, proving there is plenty of ethnic diversity everywhere but in the crime underground. So Chunder Woman is revealed standing on a statue that's a mix of the Statue of Liberty and Lady Justice. This imagery is so heavy-handed I can feel it slapping me across the face. Hey, that's not an awful green screen shot. I totally believe she's standing there. I mean, this is on par with effects in YouTube videos. So anyway, Sarah Silverman lassos the dude and asks for exposition so we can hear that they are reactionary terrorists. Probably Matt Obama one, am I right? So the bomb dude is all, this is man's best hope. Down with the modern world. Back to the dark ages and the safety of holy fear. So this amazingly subtle jab at MAGA basically says, white folks are afraid of progress and want to go back to religion. And this movie came out a year after the election, so I don't think this is a coincidence. There's a fight and Chunder Woman ducks, dodges and deflects the best bullets Video Copilot has to offer, and defeats evil Whitey. Then we finally get to the actual story, and it's just Batfleck looking for Aquaman. Aquaman, an Atlantean whose natives were fair-haired and skinned, is now a Pacific Islander. Okay, I get it. Hollywood is creatively bankrupt, and now Jason Momoa plays every character with long hair, hence his short attachment to the Crow remake. Anyway, we get a cursory warning about global warming as Aquaman goes into a heated water tank on a green screen studio with a snowy background plate chroma keyed in behind him. We are then treated to a shaving scene to blend the reshoots into the original footage as Alfred is pretty much Bruce Wayne's new Robin and possibly boyfriend as they share some Buffy the Vampire Slayer quality relationship dialogue and debate on the stupidest MacGuffin in all of cinematic history. Cubes. Really? That's the best your art department could come up with? Fucking cubes? It almost feels like it wasn't even originally there, and in a test screening someone was all like, so how did they know what these alien demon things were up to? And so quickly, the cubes were cobbled together at the last moment, as they were already in a scene somewhere as something else. This stuff really does happen, and it's more common than most people know. It's just not normally bungled so badly. Anyway, we get Cyborg's backstory, and he's half robot, half black kid, and all emo. Here he of course has a genius IQ and a football scholarship. Of course he does, why wouldn't he? In the original comic series, which I actually thought was pretty good, he was kind of a football meathead as I recall, and he had a great emotional arc as he had to deal with not being dead and being half a robot. And in the original 4-issue comic series, Cyborg was kind of a deeper character and had to deal with losing his old life, which was, popularity and girls, and then deal with resenting his creator. He had a really similar origin to kind of Ben Grimm and Frankenstein. Now, here you're saying that it's Frankenstein's monster, but being as Frankenstein technically created the life, like it was a man-made son of his, they would technically both share the same surname. And also, I asked the monster and he doesn't mind.
It was sort of like Cyborg was an amputee learning to cope with a fake limb, except it was half his body. Also, he's pretty much a Teen Titans guy. I don't really ever remember him being in the Just Ice League. Then we meet the Flash, but this latest Flash isn't just fast, he's also Jewish.
This is a person who looks exactly like me, but who is definitely not me. Very attractive Jewish boy.
So here he's signing into jail, and he puts an evil, bald white man in his place with marker antics. Yeah, that'll teach him. This kid's not so much on a superhero level, but more on the level of a frat boy that draws a dick on his friend's face when he passes out. Jewish kid's dad is wrongfully accused, as the investigation was botched, so even though he's a jailbird, he's still a good guy. He plays the martyr and tells the kid not to come around anymore, and then he gets drug off by the evil cops. So then we meet rich, important dude Cyrus, Cyborg's dad, as the poor white janitor sucks up to him. Then we finally meet Cyborg, and he's a whiny bitch. Also, to save on VFX budget, he's dressed completely in a sweatsuit with the hood up, and we see his Terminator eye glow, where basically they can just animate a red dot. Again, to save on the FX budget. So finally, we get the lamest reveal of all time. A black dude in a hoodie with some shit glued on his face, and a glow created in After Effects. This is your character's big reveal? It should be impacting. You were going for shocking and it failed. Just like everything else in this movie, it's been handled badly and it's disappointing. So he suggests that his electronics are growing or self-modding, and unless he has nanites in him, that's just stupid and impossible because electronics don't grow, they are built with plans and R&D. I can't believe I'm talking about this. Anyway, so poor white janitor finds an alien demon and is killed. I think this is a perfect example of this movie having its head squarely up its ass, because that scene did fuck all to propel the plot. Then we meet up with the broads at Green Screen Island, where we finally see the box and meet Steppenwolf. No, Steppenwolf is the best villain from an Xbox 360 cutscene. So the box appears to be a nonsensical mix of the Hellraiser puzzle box, the Tesseract from Thor, the Genesis device from Star Trek 3, and a Transformers Energon cube, I guess? Really, it's just a thing for them to fight over and to get the plot moving. Also, are Steppenwolf and the henchmen aliens or demons? Because they literally look like the Mothman statue in Point Pleasance come to life. If the box freaking out brought Steppenwolf and the little Mothmen to the box, then why was one fighting Batman earlier? Was that scene out of order? Possibly, but for sure they needed to foreshadow the box in the laziest way possible. So if the box is that big a deal, then why is Chunder Woman off fucking around in the human world, stopping minor terrorist activities that the police could handle? Oh, cause her solo movie was popular, so people need more Wonder Woman, of course. If Batfleck would have called Chunder Woman in the beginning, she could have told him, oh yeah, that's like this box that we guard over on Lesbo Island. Anyway, blue laser in the sky, bad guy bails, yada yada. So the Amazons light the bat signal, sorry, the Wonder Woman flame, and Chunder Woman gets her second intro. So, Chunder Woman walks right into the Batcave. Apparently, she's a ninja also. We get an exposition dump that the box is an Energon cube, and there's 3 of them. So the 3 boxes join like the Infinity Stones, then terraform the world like the Genesis device from Star Trek 3. How much more are you gonna throw at these boxes? So lazy. Anyway, here we learn that Aquaman knows what the box is too, so I'm not really sure why Aquaman was so dismissive earlier. Also, the dude from 300 makes a sick cameo. So then in some amazing writing, Cyborg happens to be right there watching Batman and Wonder Woman, because alien tech, I guess? Sure, why not? We meet Jewish Flash, and he immediately goes into his best Woody Allen Seinfeld material.
My special skills include viola, web design, fluent in sign language, gorilla sign language.
Because I used to go to New York University years ago. I was a history of hygiene major there some time ago.
Like brunch. Like, what is brunch?
That's your third bowl today? You had it for breakfast and lunch.
Hey, so what's the deal with brunch? I mean, if it's a combination of breakfast and lunch, how come there's no supper or no dinner?
So I am just a black hole of snacks. I am a snack hole.
Snack hole. Well, that's some Buffy tier writing there, buddy. So in some rando video Chunder Woman watches, we learn Cyborg doesn't have a cyborg ween. You know, for the ladies. So all of a sudden, Suckborg, who was eavesdropping on their conversation and knows who Diana Prince is, still has no idea why Batfleck is looking for him. Batfleck, Chunder Woman, and Jewish Flash meet Commissioner Gordon on the roof, and this must not be a reshoot because there's no ham-fisted politics, and Wonder Woman is now calling the Mothmen demons.
Parademons.
When in the reshoots, they've made it a point to call them aliens. So Suckborg shows up, but only because his daddy got kidnapped. And now, suddenly his whole body is a robot, except his head, and would definitely be much bulkier than it was in the sweatsuit. Later, Cyborg, who is now pretty much the black T-1000, turns out he's got alien box juice in him. So Alfred just runs the control room and is pretty much the same character as Devon Miles, the British dude from Knight Rider that was always in the control room telling Michael Knight where shit was. Or even worse, Norman from Street Hawk, that stupid Knight Rider knockoff with the motorcycle. And that dude would always have Norman do everything for him.
Come on, Norman. I'm aging. Would you... Just a second. Hyperthrust happens to be a very complex procedure. That's Boogie.
Yeah, Boogie, good. Boogie.
Devon Miles. That's like Giles. Ugh. So the Social Justice League goes to the Batcave because, sure, why not? And Jewish Flash does his best Jimmy Fallon impersonation, and it's just about as funny.
Wow, it's like a cave.
Like a bat cave.
Kids told their parents, I'll miss you so much, and their parents were like, and I'll see you after school.
Here it's confirmed that Suckborg's dad used the MacGuffin box's vague powers to make Cyborg. So did he just like rub the box on him or put it next to him or like what was that process? Because it sounds vague and implausible. Now here we get more SJW fun. Batman gets into a verbal disagreement with Chunder Woman. Jewish Flash says if she kills him, they'll vouch for her. Hashtag believe women. Hashtag white knight. Then Suckborg is all, well, you was being an asshole, I ran the numbers. Hashtag black white knight. So after deciding to use the Infinity Stone, mother box, to bring Rubber Lip back, Jimmy Fallon is all like, what if he comes back all Pet Cemetery? If the tech was used on Suckborg, then he's your beta group. His personality will suck, and he'll be emo, but otherwise normal. Worst case, a bunch of computer shit'll fuse to his dead parts, making him Robo-Superman. Robo-Hoperman. Jimmy Fallon and Suckborg go dig up Rubber Lip, and of course, Suckborg is back in the sweatsuit, to save on the FX budget. Jimmy Fellatio gives us a throwaway line about he could do it faster, and it seems Suckborg could probably turn his hand into a backhoe and get it done in one scoop. Basically, here's a good place for a backstory exposition dump, and let's make sure they don't use superpowers. The group somehow sneaks into a military blockade with the mother box and Hoperman's dead body. They put him in some muddy water, and somehow, even though the military is guarding the spot, they have no guards or cameras anywhere in the area. And suddenly all the heroes are inexplicably in their get-ups. So, just like in Star Trek 3, when they use the Genesis device to terraform the planet and it brings Spock back to life, they use static electricity to start the box and it terraforms Superman back to life. This seems to now just be under the city? Why did the military have a checkpoint for an abandoned city? So Hoberman is suddenly shirtless and aggro, probably because he hasn't had his morning coffee yet. Then Suckborg shoots at him because fight scene needs to happen. So they fight, then Lana Lang or Lois Lane, I'm not sure, shows up and tells Rubberlip to chill, and instead of punching her, they just fly off together and presumably get tacos. So while everybody's farting around with Rubberlip, Steppenwolf shows up and yoinks the last box. Hoberman takes the broad to his old pad and she says, "You smell good," to a guy who has been dead and then was presumably resurrected in a sewer and then got in a fight. And if he smells good now, what the hell did he smell like before?
He smells like cat pee.
Suddenly Rubberlip has a shirt now and then he sees Ma Kent, whatever. Steppenwolf joins the boxes and starts horror terraforming the planets, and Suckborg and the Social Justice League are still just farting around. Suddenly, they figure out the cubes are in Russia and they can magically pull the boxes apart. What is the left's obsession with Russia? It's because all the porn comes from Russia now, isn't it? So the SJL go to Russia and fight. Batman plays the WAV file of some sound effect and calls the Mothmen, who have so far been aliens and demons and insects. So suddenly we're back with this Russian family who is getting attacked because they're near the terraform, I guess? Yet, at that moment, Batman is being followed by all the Mothmen because WAV file? I can't help but think this was part of the original story, and the third box was under the Russian house, and the Mothmen were attacking the house to get the box? I don't know. Then the next time we see the Russian family, they bail out and serve no purpose to the plot. There would be no real reason to spend so much time with these rando victims. Jewish Flash is unarmed and killing Mothmen. Is he just like doing a Last Jedi and ramming them at high speed? Wouldn't that destroy his body? I mean, he's just a dude, right? If he's using his body to run through shit really fast, wouldn't Bullet Man be a better name? Steppenwolf rips Suckborg in half with ease. You mean he could have done that this whole time? Anyway, we catch up with the Ruski family now driving their suck truck and getting stuck. These must be the producer's kids. We are spending way too much time with this family that serves no purpose. Wonder Woman busts Steppenwolf's axe, but only after a bunch of help from the rest of the Super Friends. Then Steppenwolf smells like fear, and the Mothmen attack him and cart him back off to his dimension. So technically, the Social Justice League did nothing, and Steppenwolf was defeated because he didn't believe in himself. I guess the moral of the story is don't let a woman emasculate you and make you lose faith in yourself. The Social Justice League stands triumphant and diverse, as their memberships include a black dude, a Jewish dude, a rich white dude they don't really like, but he does all the work and owns all the toys, and a literal illegal alien.
Batman saves the story of an immigrant who came to his country and who just tries to make the world a better place.
A Jewish woman and a Pacific Islander. So at the end, everybody gets what they want. Hoberman gets his farm back because Batman bought the bank. The Flush shows his jailbird dad that he got a job in the crime lab, most likely because Bruce Wayne bought the lab. Lois Lane, whose name was finally spoken 2/3 of the way through the movie, writes a terrible story in which she proves she doesn't understand the difference between a light switch and depression. Suckborg heals himself with nanites that Bruce Wayne probably owns. Aquaman flies through the air because that's that's what Waterman's powers are, and Bruce Wayne buys more crap. Now, what's up with the Flush's run cycle? His feet are moving slower than the background plate, so it looks like he's sliding on the ground. This is some seriously amateur hour crap. Lois Lane drones on and on about hope, and all I can think of is libtards wishing for Obama to come back. Okay, well, that was a huge chore, and I'm never watching that again. You didn't have much to do to make a passable movie, and you spent enough money on it, and, you know, the last thing we needed was a bunch of fucking social justice crap shoehorned into it. I mean, that just took something bad and made it worse. It would have been easy to make a decent Justice League movie, and maybe I will explain how easy that could have been in another video. Don't forget to like or dislike, comment, say what's on your mind, share the video, because, you know, YouTube doesn't suggest this stuff to anybody. And remember, stay awake, stay alert. We are the new counterculture.
What's the deal with Aquaman? Could he go on the land, or was he just restricted to water?
I think I saw him on land a couple times.